body cam there. She's been placed on leave. Meantime, not far away, the defense is about to present its case with the trial of the former cop accused of killing George Floyd.
After 2 weeks of testimony that included accounts from eyewitnesses, but also analysis from law enforcement and medical experts, the prosecution is expected to rest its case today. Once it does, the defense will begin calling its witnesses and is expected to further push its theory that George Floyd did not die as a result of Derek Chauvin's actions, but by drugs in his system and his own health issues.
Story started Mark Remillard in Minneapolis. 44 degrees, cloudy. We're going up to 62 in Midtown. Somebody shot a 2-year-old girl in Newark yesterday. Cops say the shooter was trying to get somebody else, but the little girl got the bullet at 14th Avenue and South 6th Street. Her cousin talked to CBS 2. How did it happen? How did that even happen? Right now, we're blessed today that she was able to survive it. The girl's in stable condition at University Hospital. Newark cops are still looking for whoever shot her. There's been more gunfire in the city. A man shot in the head in Harlem just after midnight this morning. Happened at the Drew Hamilton houses. The victim's wound described as life-threatening. No word yet on who shot him or why. A man was shot to death in the courtyard of the Sotomayor houses in the Soundview section of the Bronx around 9 last night. No ID yet on the victim there, and they're still looking for the shooter and the motive. When he was running for president, Joe Biden promised to create a White House commission on police reform, but now advisor Susan Rice says the administration will just work with Congress to enact the George Floyd Justice Act. President Biden met with lawmakers at the White House yesterday to try to sell them on the $2.3 trillion infrastructure plan.
I'm prepared to negotiate as to how the extent of my infrastructure project as well as how we pay for it. But if we get in a serious conversation about how to do that.
Republicans object to the bill on the grounds that only about 6% of it has anything to do with things that fall under the usual heading of infrastructure like roads and bridges. We have traffic and AccuWeather coming up in a minute, plus your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Yankees is less than 5 minutes away. We don't think the helicopter they sent to Mars runs on Windows 10, but it does need a software update, as Peter King reports.
NASA says it's put off the Ingenuity helicopter's first Martian flight while engineers test its software. The agency says they discovered a problem during a pre-flight test last Friday and want to make sure everything is all set before flying the $80 million craft. Jet Propulsion Lab engineers say the fix is pretty straightforward. It takes time to make sure the software will indeed work and then send it up to Mars. They hope to have a new flight date announced next week.
And they're hoping to get in at least 4 flights between then and early next month. Next news time, 8:11, traffic and transit now from Karen Stewart.
Well, when you head out to travel on the southbound FDR at 8:11 in the morning, you don't expect to be stuck in traffic from an accident that happened at 6:25. But that's exactly the situation we've got. With the right lane closed southbound on the FDR 63rd, we are jammed back into the low 140s, jam-packed, and the inbound RFK is footing the bill with delays that start on the eastbound BQE at Northern Boulevard, just to get to the westbound Grand Central and up to the RFK. So the 59th Street Bridge makes a very good alternate. It's actually your DuckDuckGo route that you can trust. The 59th Street Bridge, which is not great, is a lot better than the RFK and the trip up into it. The westbound LIE to the inbound Queens Midtown, now the delay starts at Maurice Avenue. And over the Queensbound Throgs Neck, there are delays, while we're dealing with a 20-minute number inbound at the Holland Lincoln and over at the GW Bridge. As you travel Staten Island, we've got a couple of things against us here. We've got southbound Route 440 delays trying to get down through Arden Avenue. And we've got a northbound Route 440 delay that's kind of heavy, trying to get up into the eastbound Staten Island Expressway with delays there that go all the way out to Manor Road right now. The Bell Parkway has got some heavy westbound travel as you make your way to Coney Island Avenue and around Kennedy Airport and the Van Wyck Expressway with alternate side in effect today citywide. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes on the one. I'm Karen Stewart on 1010 Winds.
Now the 1010 Winds AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Here with that, meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Well, we have clouds and some breaks of sunshine around right now. It will turn out partly to mostly sunny as the day goes on. It will be milder than yesterday as it will be dry compared to the rain we were battling at times yesterday. Today's high about 62. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 49. We'll start with some sunshine tomorrow, but then it'll cloud up again. We'll still be mild tomorrow with a high of 65. Could be a shower towards sunset tomorrow in some western suburbs. A better chance for a couple of showers as the night goes on. Low tomorrow night down near 50. None of the storm systems sitting offshore. Thursday and Friday look rather cloudy, while off and on rain. Will be brisk and chilly too. High only 53 on Thursday, and will struggle to reach 50 on Friday. Right now it's 47 degrees and mostly cloudy. And Midtown are going up to 62. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station 1010 Winds.
Your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Yankees is 1 minute away on 1010 Wins.
Join the millions switching to Spectrum Mobile, and you could save up to 40%. Nationwide 5G is included with every plan, and there are no added taxes or fees, plus no contract. And for a limited time, get up to $300 off a new Samsung 5G phone with trade-in when you switch to Spectrum Mobile. Visit a Spectrum store near you or go to SpectrumMobile.com today. Savings based on comparison of single-line, comparable, unlimited plans amongst major national carriers as of 1/27/2021. Data usage limits vary by carrier. Spectrum Internet required. Services not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
When is this party going down?
One Night in Miami is now nominated for 3 Academy Awards, including Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Song, Speak Now, and Best Supporting Actor, Leslie Odom Jr.
You mean my dreams come true?
The New York Times proclaims it's one of the most exciting movies in quite some time.
Oh, you damn right.
Leslie Odom Jr. is astonishing, hails Time magazine.
I sounded up.
For your consideration, One Night in Miami, rated R.
That sound means it is time to give away some Yankee tickets. Be the 10th caller to 1-855-475-1010, and you'll win a pair of field-level MVP tickets to see the Yankees take on the Atlanta Braves Tuesday, April 20th, 6:35 p.m. at Yankee Stadium. To purchase tickets, go to Yankees.com. Tickets will be electronic. Winners must comply with Yankee Stadium COVID testing protocols. Again, the number to win, 855-475-1010. Check back between 9 and 9:15. For your next chance to win, and good luck from 1010 Wins.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, we need to clear a path here.
Indeed knows unexpected employee turnover can stall your business.
John.
Like at Chris's Logistics Company. To avoid things grinding to a halt, he needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Wins News Time 8:16. You don't often hear about Major League Baseball players asking for mental health days, but a member of the Yankees asked for one yesterday, and he got it, as Mark Renee is here to tell us this morning. Mark?
Yeah, Le'Aaron Hicks told his manager that with everything going on in Minneapolis, the city Hicks started his big league career in, he thought it best to not be in the Yanks starting lineup last night against the Blue Jays, and even if some fans had a problem with that, which they voiced on social media, Aaron Boone was fully supportive of the center fielder.
I would say that Aaron's hurting in a huge way, and I think, in a way, felt like it was probably the responsible thing to take himself out, and knowing that it was going to be hard for him to be all in mentally in what's, a high-stake, difficult, job.
And it turned out the Yankees didn't need Hicks in their 3-1 win. Anytime the Minnesota Twins game against the Red Sox, the T-Wolves NBA battle with the Nets, and the Wilds matchup in the NHL versus the Blues were all postponed. Mark Renee, 1010 Wins Sports.
Not all kids are back in school yet, but President Biden's dog will be going back to school, obedient school, after a couple of biting incidents.
Veterinary behaviorist Amy Pike says you can't really blame Major Biden.
I can imagine the White House is a pretty stressful place to live as a human as well as a dog.
Especially one who is a rescue dog.
He may not have been exposed to a lot of different people faces.
First Lady Jill Biden's office says the 3-year-old German Shepherd will get private training off the White House grounds for a few weeks. Major and Biden's other dog, the 12-year-old Champ, relocated to the White House from Delaware in January. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Investigators say an NYPD officer month in its 12 years of existence. Not just passengers, also food delivery, which was up 150% year over year. So now Uber's having a problem keeping up with demand. New incentives are being offered to get people to drive for Uber, including bonuses based on how many trips a driver makes in a month. 200 trips could earn a bonus of up to $2,000. But Uber says it expects this shortage of drivers to be temporary as more of the usual drivers return to the road, meaning that earnings will eventually return to pre-COVID levels. Wins News Time 819.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
10-Cent Wins is giving away a pair of Yankees tickets every hour from now until 6 p.m. Just listen for the cue to call and your chance to win.
All news, all the time. This is 10-10 Wins. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning, 44 degrees at 8:20. It's Tuesday, April 13th. I'm Lee Harris. Here's what's happening. The FDA and the CDC are recommending putting Johnson & Johnson shots on hold in response to blood clots in at least 6 patients. One of them died. An Asian American man was slammed into a storefront window on the Upper East Side yesterday, although the NYPD isn't sure it was a hate crime. Governor Cuomo says he might endorse a candidate in the Democratic mayoral primary, but so far only Andrew Yang and Ray McGuire seem interested. At least 40 people arrested in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota last night as protesters threw debris at cops. Investigators say the officer who shot Dante Wright in Brooklyn Center meant to tase him. Harvey Weinstein doesn't want to go to California to face another sex crimes trial. Sports, the Knicks beat the Lakers. The Nets-Timberwolves game postponed in Minnesota. 10-10 Wins AccuWeather, at least partly sunny today. We'll have a high of 62. It's news time, 8:21. Karen Stewart's here with traffic and transit on the ones.
Well, that very aggravating southbound FDR crash at 63rd Street is still there, but not for long. We've got a lot of people out there trying to tend to this thing, and it should be cleared soon. The delays are still heavy from back on the Harlem River, but once you're off the Harlem River driving onto the FDR, the speeds are improving a lot. Meanwhile, the RFK, though, is still jammed as we check what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels into the Upper East Side because of that. And we've got delays, too, going up the eastbound BQE from Northern Boulevard to the Grand Central West and on your way to the RFK Bridge. 59th Street Bridge, a perfect duck-duck-go route you can trust as an alternate to the inbound RFK. Queens Midtown Tunnel has the westbound LIE very heavy from back at Maurice Avenue. And previous to that, we are packed into Woodhaven from back at Utopia Parkway. That's where the westbound Grand Central Parkway delays start, too. Bumper to bumper from the Utopia out to the Kew Gardens interchange. And the southbound Van Wyck now is delayed beyond Jewel Avenue, trying to get into the Kew Gardens interchange, too. Bell Parkway westbound, quite the jam up through Sheepshead Bay over at Bedford Avenue, where there is again another incident. Looks like an accident there. And the inbound Gowanus is heavy from Port Hamilton Parkway straight up into Atlantic Avenue. I'm Karen Stewart. Your next report is in less than 10 minutes, 8:31 on 10-10 Wins.
The CDC and the FDA are recommending a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Medical correspondent Dr. David Agus says it's about the same problem reported in Europe, blood clots.
There's a similar vaccine, AstraZeneca, that's also we call an adenovirus vaccine, where blood clots were seen also in really small numbers. And so when you're seeing it with two different vaccines that have some similarity, we get really worried. And so tomorrow morning there'll be an advisory meeting where they'll review these 6 cases and see whether they think they are related to the vaccine or not and what to do.
6 women between the ages of 18 and 48 developed blood clots. 1 died. A second woman in Nebraska has been hospitalized in critical condition. While the move is being presented as a recommendation, the federal government will stop administering the vaccine at all federally run vaccination sites. Federal officials expect that state health officials will do the same. So again, the FDA and the CDC recommending a pause in the use of Johnson & Johnson vaccine while the issue with blood clots is investigated. There have been a lot of rallies and speeches calling for an end to anti-Asian hate crimes in the city, but they seem to keep happening. An Asian American man was minding his own business walking at 72nd and Lexington yesterday when a man ran up yelling, "I'm going to kill somebody, get out of my face." He then slammed the victim into a glass storefront. The victim tried to run, but the attacker chased him. Luckily, several bystanders gathered around to protect him. As for whether this was a hate crime, a woman says the same guy went after her and was yelling about Chinese people, but also about Spanish people and white people. He asked her if she wanted him to kill her. Cops are still looking for the attacker. They've not yet classified this as a hate crime. Governor Cuomo says he might make an endorsement in the Democratic primary for mayor, and at least a couple of candidates are interested. Andrew Yang is one, Ray McGuire is the other. Yang says if Governor Cuomo, or any Democratic governor for that matter, offered me an endorsement, I would accept it and hope to work with them to get things done for New Yorkers. McGuire's spokesman says Ray is willing to accept the support of any elected official who is aligned with his plan to bring the most inclusive economic comeback that New York City has ever seen. Most of the other candidates have called on Cuomo to step down. Consequently, they don't want his endorsement. Yang banged out a couple of tweets over the weekend that seemed not to work to his advantage. One concerned getting rid of his dog, the other calling for tougher enforcement against street vendors. So now he's doing some explaining.
Yang admits Twitter was not the ideal medium to suggest more enforcement of unlicensed vendors. He says he supports expanded licenses, but that he has heard complaints from business owners who have had issues with specific vendors and say no one does anything about it.
And I've gotten that narrative from, at this point, I think 5 different small business owners in New York City. And so this is what I was trying to frame, and I did a poor job of it.
Without naming Yang, Comptroller Scott Stringer took aim at his mayoral primary rival.
He wants to start a crackdown on vendors and send enforcement after the immigrant communities that powered us through the pandemic.
Yang also drew backlash for his National Pet Day tweet about a dog named Grizzly he had to give up because of his child's allergies. He explained his son had a serious respiratory attack.
And that's when I knew you had to give our dog away. Oh, that was terrible.
Half crying, half laughing. He said Grizzly ended up having a great life with some close friends of Yang and his wife. Sonia Rincon, 1010 wins in Williamsburg.
Congratulations to Willard Price of Queens. He's the winner of our Yankees ticket giveaway, and check back between 9 and 9:15 for your next chance to win. Help the New York Blood Center fight COVID-19 by going to nybc.org for information. Now Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins, sponsored by Atlantic Health Systems. Here's Steve Protis.
Well, Lee, as restrictions are being lifted in more places, small business operators are starting to feel more upbeat about sales and jobs. The National Federation of Independent Business Survey finds optimism at a 4-month high of almost 2.5 points. The March index is 98.2. With so many people working and learning from home during the pandemic, personal computer sales opened the first 3 months of this year by rising at the fastest pace in 2 decades. According to the number crunchers at Gartner, worldwide PC shipments came in at just under 70 million units in the first quarter, an increase of 32% from the first quarter of last year. Travel stocks are struggling in early trading here on worries about the government pause on the use of Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccine. S&P futures are down 10 points. NASDAQ higher by 10, but Dow futures are sinking 123. Bloomberg Money Watch, 26:56 past every hour. I'm Steve Protis for 1010 Wins.
From Leamington to Vinegar Hill, Manhattan to Massapequa. If it's happening in your area, it's happening now on 1010 Wins.
57, and we're going up to 62 in Midtown today. I'm Lee Harris. Wins News Time at the Tone, 8:30.
Good morning, I'm Susan Richard. There were mostly peaceful protests here in New York last night over a fatal police shooting of a black man in Minnesota. In Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, police made about 40 arrests from curfew violations to rioting. Governor Tim Walz.
For those who choose to go out and, as Mayor Carter said, to exploit these tragedies for destruction or personal gain, you can rest assured that the largest police presence in Minnesota history in coordination will be prepared. You will be arrested, you will be charged, and there will be consequences for those actions.
The police officer who shot and killed 20-year-old Dante Bright during a traffic stop on Sunday has been identified now as Kim Potter, a 26-year veteran of the force. She's been placed on administrative leave. In body cam footage, Potter is heard yelling, "Taser, taser," and then a four-letter word when she realizes that she didn't tase him, but instead shot him with a bullet. The police chief called it an accident. During a vigil for her son, Katie Bright says her heart's broken.
Was my wife, he's my son, and I never did that bad. Because of a mistake. Because of an accident.
President Biden has called for peace and calm. Harvey Weinstein could be headed back to Tinseltown. We'll tell you why coming up. Wins News Time 8:31. First traffic and transit. Here's Karen Stewart. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Thankfully, it's gone. The southbound FDR crash at 63rd Street is out of there. We've got a lot of people in a hurry here. The southbound Harlem River Drive is still jammed from the Madison Avenue Bridge down to the FDR at about 106th Street. From there down to 63rd, it's getting a lot better. But the inbound RFK is not, because the Harlem River Drive is still heavy there, and so we're jammed inbound to the RFK from back on the eastbound side of the BQE from 31st Avenue now, which is a very slight improvement. As we continue with what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels, heavy traffic in at the 59th Street Bridge, especially from Northern Boulevard right now. Inbound Queens Midtown has the westbound LIE heavy from jammed, actually. From 48th Street, inbound Holland Lincoln GW Bridge, they all still have an even 20-minute number. And as we travel to Long Island, taking a check of what we see on Long Island Speed 3. Heavy delays on the westbound side of the Southern State. From Little East Neck Road now out to 29. It has moments where it moves better than others. Westbound Northern State 106 and 7 is heavy, and the westbound LIE is 2. From exit 40 out to exit 37. We've got the Barnes Firm traffic tip line available to you. We'd appreciate the help. If you're in a jam, call it 844-JAM-1010. I'm Karen Stewart on 1010 Win.
I'm attorney Rich Barnes. If you've been in a car crash, choosing the right firm is crucial to get the help you need and the best result possible.
Now the 1010 Winds AccuWeather Exergen 4-day forecast. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
We're going to see more in the way of sunshine, Susan, as we head throughout the day today. It's going to be milder, high to about 62 this afternoon. It's about a 10-degree jump from what we saw yesterday, where we were dealing with clouds and rain much of the time. Partly to mostly cloudy for tonight, the low down to 49. We'll start with a little bit of sunshine for tomorrow, but it'll tend to cloud up as we go through the afternoon. It'll still be mild tomorrow with a high of 65. Now, especially west of the city, there could be a shower in some spots before nightfall. We'll have a couple of showers into tomorrow night and a better chance for some rain into Thursday and Friday. It's not going to be raining all the time, but there will likely be a few rounds of rain coming through. Thursday's high 53, Friday's high near 50. It's going to feel chillier both days when you factor in the wind. Right now, 47 degrees. It is mostly cloudy at Midtown. We're going up to 62. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Win.
Need a helping hand to relaunch, rebuild, or expand your business? 1010 Winds and Dime Community Bank want to give you $10,000. Go to 1010wins.com/challenge for details. You and your business could be our next winner. That's 1010wins.com/challenge. Win News Time 8:34. The prosecution could rest today in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. That means the defense would be up next. ABC News legal analyst Dan Abrams says prosecutors presented a compelling case along with the video of Chauvin kneeling on George Floyd's neck.
On the question of reasonableness of the use of force, that's when you're hearing police experts and use of force experts, etc. Boy, Chauvin has a tough road to hoe as part of the defense here. I don't see how they're going to overcome the evidence, the video evidence, the experts, etc.
The defense argues Floyd's history of heart disease and having both meth and fentanyl in his system led to him suffering fatal cardiac arrest. Closing arguments could come as soon as Monday. Harvey Weinstein fights efforts to have him tried in California.
to the original felony complaint, but not identical.
Weinstein was originally charged in L.A. with sex offenses from 2004 to 2013 involving 5 separate women. Challenging extradition based on a technicality, something about the way the L.A. prosecutors drafted the indictment. The judge in this state set another proceeding for the end of the month.
Weinstein is currently serving 23 years on similar charges at a prison in Erie County, New York. Well, here's a sign that things could be getting back to normal around here. The Met Gala is on the calendar, and not a virtual one. We're talking in person. In fact, they're planning 2 separate events, a small one in September and then a larger bash next May. Both will celebrate the new Costume Institute exhibit, which features American fashion over the years. Another 51,000 city school kids are getting those backpacks ready. These are the students who have opted back into in-person learning. That brings the total number of students in school buildings to 365,000. The vast majority, though, about 650,000, still learning remotely. School Chancellor Misha Ross Porter says with more staff and teachers getting vaccinated, the rules will need to be rewritten come September.
We have about 28,000 teachers on an accommodation, and to the mayor's point, we're working to reset. For next year, we are in a very different place than we were a year ago today, and so we're looking forward to resetting what our system looks like with our staff members coming back.
Those who opted back in return on April 26th. 47 degrees, cloudy now, going up to a mostly sunny 62. Wins News Time, 8:36. Kim and Kanye work out some divorce details. 1010 Wins Entertainment next.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. New Yorkers, good news. We now have 3 safe, effective, and life-saving COVID-19 vaccines. And thousands of New Yorkers are now able to get vaccinated every day. The Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines are the best protection we have against severe illness, hospitalizations, and deaths due to COVID-19. Even if you have had COVID-19, it is important to get vaccinated because it lowers your risk of getting it again and may prevent you from passing it on to others. When it is your turn, get vaccinated to protect yourself and all of your friends, neighbors, and loved ones whom you'll also be helping to protect. Remember, the best COVID-19 vaccine is the one you can get soonest. To learn more about the vaccine, visit nyc.gov/COVID-vaccine. To learn more about COVID-19, visit nyc.gov/health/coronavirus.
Wins News Time, 8:38. In 1010 Wins Entertainment, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian have filed new divorce papers in California. They agree that they should have joint custody of their 4 kids, and there's no need for spousal support. Correspondent Oscar Wells Gabriel.
Accusing her divorce filings mean the eventual end to one of the most followed celebrity unions in recent decades between rap star, who is 43, and his 40-year-old reality TV show ex-wife-to-be.
Well, the two do have a prenuptial agreement. Wyatt Pike is out on American Idol. He wasn't voted out, he dropped out for what the show says was personal reasons. In his place, they're bringing back some season 18 contestants to compete for his spot. Wins News Time, 8:39.
Fans, the 41st annual New York Yankees Homecoming Dinner, benefiting the work of the New York Yankees Foundation and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Tampa Bay, will be a special virtual event on Thursday, May 6th. Help us honor C.C. Sabathia with the Pride of the Yankees Award. And for the first time ever, general admission tickets are available for this exclusive virtual event only at Yankees.com/dinner. Again, that's Yankees.com/dinner.
How do you protect yourself from the new forms of the coronavirus? Here you go. Got a mask that fits good in the sun? Perfect. Now, give your neighbors at least 6 feet of space and avoid crowds, because all that stuff still works too. Look, I'll definitely get my vaccine when it's my turn, but now isn't the time to let your guard or your mask down.
We can do this. Learn more at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Congratulations to Willard Price from Queens. He's the winner of our Yankees ticket giveaway. Check back between 9 and 9:15 for your next chance to win.
The News Watch never stops.
FDA and CDC both recommending states discontinue using the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, at least for now. We'll tell you why. SUNY and CUNY schools get the okay for in-person graduation ceremonies this year. Mayor de Blasio says he's not buying a new MTA survey that finds a whole lot of New Yorkers are too scared to take the subway. Regis High School confirms it is canning its president for sexual misconduct. And Harry Royals put their world differences aside to mourn the loss of Prince Philip. In sports, the Yankees won, Mets and Phillies rained out, the Knicks beat the Lakers, Nets and Timberwolves were postponed. 10-10 wins AccuWeather, mostly sunny today, the high 62. News time 8:41, traffic and transit. Here's Karen Stewart. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. We just posted an update on our 1010 Wins traffic Twitter page about the Holland. It's got a number of 25 minutes now into city. The inbound side of the Lincoln is 15 to 20, and the inbound GW Bridge is pretty much 15 to 20 as well. Heavy over the span, and it'll stay very heavily delayed all the way up Avenue. Now, those delays are causing delays on the Deegan. The southbound trip delays start back at the Mosholu, just trying to get 295 and past there down to Yankee Stadium. And we've got northbound Deegan delays as well that start off the Bruckner going up into the Cross Bronx Expressway. Inbound RFK is still jammed from back on the eastbound beach to lead to the Grand Central West, but the accident at 63rd Street is gone, so we're starting to move a little bit better. Cross Bronx West, disabled tractor trailer at Rosedale. Westbound Cross Bronx, also at 3rd Avenue, has a disabled truck. The right lane's blocked, and if you're heading out into Long Island right now, the only delay that's really substantial is the Southern State from before Route 109 to exit 25. It's not going to be a very easy ride. Not stop and go, but very, very heavy. I'm Karen Stewart on 1010 Wins. Both the FDA and CDC are going to stop giving out the Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccine at federal vaccination sites, and they're recommending state and local sites do the same. Correspondent Eva Pilgrim tells us this is after half a dozen people in this country developed rare but potentially fatal blood clots.
They were all women between the ages of 18 and 48. One woman died. A second woman in Nebraska is in the hospital and in critical condition. Now, about 7 million people have received the J&J vaccine. Again, the number of cases that develop this rare disorder is small, but out of an abundance of caution, they're calling for a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Well, are you among those? This vaccine, speaking on CBS this morning, medical contributor Dr. David Agus with this advice.
If you're past 2 weeks, you are clear. And, it's not probably going to happen then. If you're worried about anything, your doctor can check a blood test and look if your platelet counts are low, or look for a particular type of antibody that's associated with this.
In a statement, Johnson & Johnson says it's aware of the issue, but at present, no clear causal relationship has been established between these rare events and its vaccine. The blood clot issues have been previously associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine. That one is being considered by the FDA, but is yet to receive emergency use authorization in this country. Good news for SUNY and CUNY students. Governor Cuomo has signed off on in-person graduation ceremonies this year.
There will be plenty of breathing room with small outdoor graduation ceremonies, allowed 50% of capacity, but large indoor commencements, just 10%. And Governor Cuomo has announced a Vax to School program for SUNY and CUNY.
We have the staff at the school. We have the students at the school. Let's vaccinate them at the schools.
And Hamilton star Lin-Manuel Miranda was on Broadway announcing the opening of a vaccination site for theater employees.
If you worked in the wardrobe department, if you were a stage manager, if you were a front of house staff, you were an usher, you are welcome to this incredible facility on 47th Street.
The mayor hopes the shows will go on again by September. John Montone, 1010, Wins News.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has a difference of opinion with CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky over her state's surge in COVID variant cases and what to do about that. Whitmer has asked the federal government for more vaccine doses, but Dr. Walensky argues for more shutdowns.
The answer to that is to really close things down, to go back to our basics, to go back to where we were last summer, and to shut things down.
Whitmer has announced that work from home rules that were supposed to end in Michigan are now being extended for another 6 months. Seems the pandemic is not the reason most people don't want to ride the subway in New York. It's the crime. The results of a new survey from Mark Lenschuk.
Now, as businesses and office buildings slowly reopen, the real question is, will riders return to the subways here in our city? And the MTA continues to push for more cops from the NYPD on their trains, and they're using this new survey as proof. They say of their 33,000 riders questioned, 87% are saying crime and harassment is a major issue for them. But the mayor disagrees, saying New Yorkers are not afraid of anything.
I've talked to New Yorkers all over the city. They are focused on the city coming back. I do not believe New Yorkers live in fear. It's just not who we are.
The Carl says it's not fear, it's just riding trains in the morning that are a nightmare dirty, where he's always looking over his shoulder.
The service isn't worth it. That's for sure. It's disgusting.
The MTA says with increased police presence this summer, they hope riders will return. We'll see. Lenschuk, 1010 Winds, here at the Times Square station.
47 degrees now, cloudy skies, the humidity 71%, winds north at 6, gusting to 16 miles per hour. 47, we're headed up to 62. Winds news time 8:46. Word that AOC got a talking to. We'll have that story coming up.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
Well, you handle life's questions. Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move. Focus advisors, the low cost and minimum. Merrill, the Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
I absolutely love my dogs, but the constant shedding, not so much. But then I got a Swiffer Super Pet Kit, and it is amazing. These super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe. And the best part? Sweeper's so much easier to maneuver than a broom or a vacuum, easily getting around chairs and under the couch. You're right. Now I can focus on you, not your shedding. Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, because shed happens.
Winds news time 8:48. Turns out a lot of Brits are not too into all the news coverage of the death of Prince Philip. In fact, the Sun newspaper says the BBC has received 100,000 complaints about the network canceling regular programming that would make it the most complained about news story in BBC history. Well, correspondent James Longman tells us the royal family has gathered at Windsor Castle to prepare for the funeral.
Harry, back in the UK ahead of Prince Philip's funeral, joining the royal family at Windsor for a scaled-down service for just 30 people Saturday due to COVID-19 restrictions. The Duke of Sussex honouring Philip's life of public service, but in typical form, Harry struck a more informal note, saying, "He was my grandpa, master of the barbecue, legend of banter, and cheeky right till the end."
Harry's return to Britain is being closely watched after the controversial interview with Oprah. Meghan Markle, who's pregnant, is not there after her doctor advised her not to travel. A new biography about House Speaker Nancy Pelosi claims that she mocked Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her squad of progressive lawmakers. The book, Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi and the Lessons of Power, is by veteran journalist Susan Page of USA Today. Well, according to a preview in Axios, Pelosi took on the voice of a child while speaking about AOC and offered this blunt advice, quote, "You're not a one-person show. This is the Congress of the United States." The book is due out April 20th. Pelosi and AOC had no immediate comment. The Biden administration backing away from a campaign promise to create a White House-led commission on police reform. Domestic Policy Council Director Susan Rice says the administration strongly supports the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act and will instead work with Congress to get that passed. The president yesterday met with a bipartisan group of lawmakers about his $2.3 trillion infrastructure plan. Correspondent Stephen Portnoy with more on that.
I'm prepared to negotiate.
Meeting in the Oval Office with lawmakers from both sides of the aisle, President Biden signaled his willingness to compromise on the size of the infrastructure package and the way it's paid for.
I'm confident everything's going to work out perfectly.
Mr. Biden may be engaging in wishful thinking, as GOP critics say his proposal is full of items unrelated to infrastructure, and at least one key Democrat balks at an increase in the corporate tax from 21 to 28%.
Well, the White House is out with a fact sheet on infrastructure. It described New York as suffering from a systemic lack of investment. It found 11% of trains, buses, and other public vehicles are past their use date, and more than 1,700 bridges and nearly 7,300 miles of highway are in poor condition. Regis High School in Manhattan has announced its decision to fire the Reverend Daniel Lahart for alleged sexual misconduct. They say Lahart, who's been the president there since 2016, has been on administrative leave since late February. His firing will take effect April 21st. An outside investigator determined that Lahart engaged in inappropriate and unwelcome verbal and physical conduct of a sexual nature with adult employees. News time, 8:51. Time for traffic and transit. Here's Karen Stewart. The Henry Hudson Parkway is in very bad shape. From directly off of the Henry Hudson Bridge, it is solid bumper to bumper W Bridge ramps, and it will continue heavy on the southbound side of the